So my first day of work, I was greeted by this person. He basically stared me up and down in a very intimidating way and asked me, "Who the are you?" My name is Charlotte, and I was sexually harassed and assaulted while I was a waitress in a sports bar. When I moved to Alberta, I was putting myself through school and working part-time jobs, and I was getting along with my other coworkers and other people that worked behind the bar, and this person I felt was, in a sense, targeting me. If I dropped a glass on the floor, I was called a bitch, I was called stupid, I was called a dumb blonde, I was called every name in the book. Pushing me over, knocking over my drinks or my cutlery, putting it on the floor, or pulling my hair, or walking by and slapping my ass and laughing about it. I pulled my manager aside, and he was not much older than me, but I told him what had happened, and I didn't feel comfortable working with these men alone because due to my shifts, I was working with this individual mostly one-on-one. So a lot of times the treatment would escalate even further because nobody else was around to see it. And I began to tell him, and he said that, this person is friends with the higher-ups of the workplace, and my hands are tied. There's not much I can do. I worked in a place that had cameras everywhere. They could see the treatment that was going on. They would notice $20 missing, but would they notice a grope here, a slap here, an assault there? No. So on the day of the incident, I went behind the bar and started making my own drinks, at which point he went behind me and started pouring my drinks down the sink. This enraged me, no doubt, and I didn't know what to do, and I flustered. I walked away to get my other drinks, and he had taken my apron and untied it, having all my money go all over the floor, and that just completely set me off, and I snapped. I had enough of it. I had enough of the treatment. I had enough of the name calling, the touching, the abuse. So after I snapped, I shoved him, and we started to scuffle, and he at points had me in a headlock, and we were fighting like two kids on the playground. And there came a moment that flashed over me, and I couldn't do this. What was I doing? What was this solving? And I became so overcome with emotion, it all just hit me at once, and I just had to remove myself out of the situation. So I began to walk away, and he came up behind me and grabbed me in a bear hug and refused to let me go. And I began screaming. My feet were off the floor, and I was screaming. I didn't know what he was capable of. I didn't know what he was trying to do to me. At that point, I was just trying to get out of that situation. That feeling of not being able to have physical control over your body is just, it's like an out-of-body experience. You feel like you've already lost your rights. I mean, my body is me. That is the one thing that I can claim as my own, and I can't have control over it, even if it's for a few seconds. I went to meet with the upper management to discuss this issue, and I didn't feel safe, and I didn't feel like I should have to not work, not leave my apartment, suffer in my wages because of this person. So I wanted compensation. I wanted compensation for my wages. And in turn, they made me sign an NDA, and I was not allowed to speak about the incident because they knew that they were at fault. In fact, I don't even know if I would have been assaulted if my first complaint was just listened to. I feel like we're making waves. I feel like people know that it's starting to change. And you know what? Women have put up with way too much for too long, and we've been too nice. I think it's important to tell my story now because it's a part of my healing. It's my story. I've never shared it publicly, and I need to heal from this too. And I need to move on, and I need to let other people know that you can heal from this too.